It's been a while since I've made this many deck profiles. What's going on with ya, big dog? And I hope you are having an amazing weekend. I actually decided to do something really cool, something that I think everyone can take advantage of, and it's actually porting in some of my deck profiles that I did on Twitch onto YouTube. Now with these particular decks, we decided to play them over the course of a week and a week and a half, trying our best to perfect these particular decks, and I wanted to give you so many over this weekend. I thought it was best not only to show Twitch, but also to show you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the deck profile. Reference it if you need to. There's going to be quite the few this week and hopefully more to come. And of course, if you want to see me go through the process of building and playing these decks, you can always catch me on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sometimes I may pop up on a different day, but I'm getting beside myself. Let's jump on in so I can show you the deck profile. So when I was building the Floowandereeze deck, I actually noticed that there were a few things that people just said that was untrue about Floowandereeze. The first thing is that this deck is insanely consistent. The second is that this deck is actually very, very good. I think it's borderline tier 1, if not tier 1. A lot of people put it as tier 2 and lower, and I'd have to strongly, respectfully, disrespectfully disagree, and here's why. So the Floowandereeze strategy consists of being able to tribute summon beast or winged beast to your side of the field by getting rid of monsters. You have a 1-card starter, and you can basically put your opponent on shutdown if you do it correctly. Let me go ahead and pause this before I get into the deck profile. I think my alert box needs to go away, but here we are. Starting off with the Floowandereeze monsters, there are 2 copies of Floowandereeze Penguin, which you could, or Empin, which you could drop down to 1 if you so chose. I felt that playing 4 tribute summons was really good, especially coming when into the later games where you need to put cards back into your deck and you need to be able to resolve your Eglen. Next is 3 copies of Robina. This is the 1-card full combo. That's right. If you start off with Robina, it is full combo. If you start off with Robina Eglen, it is full combo plus a barrier statue. 3 copies of Floowandereeze Eglen. These are essentially the most important Floowandereeze card in the strategy, as this allows you to search your higher winged beast monsters, and this allows you to search the Eglen. There's also, if you want to dodge Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, this deck does it really well by being able to activate a Floowandereeze card that is banished as Chainlink 2 while you activate your Floowandereeze monster to search whether it's Eglen or Robina. Only 1 Toucan, and you guys should already know when we put this card down, follow your nose. Toucan is ridiculously good because it adds any Floowandereeze banished card, and then Stri allows you to banish your cards, which keeps your dimensional shifter alive. So there are a few things I want to talk to you guys about with Floowandereeze. First is that when they leave the field, they are banished instead. This actually is huge. It allows you to pretty much have a graveyard or no graveyard, so you can pretty much resolve dimensional shifter. But Callie, what about that dimensional shifter in graveyard? Well, you remember Stri? Stri can banish that dimensional shifter, and through testing with Jesse and everyone else, we've noticed that if you get multiple dimensional shifters, a lot of times you can resolve them, essentially putting your opponent on an FTK. One thing that I also want to talk about with the Floowandereeze strategy is that this deck still has room for improvement. Anytime we get a level 7 or higher winged beast monster from here on out, it's searchable. Also, if you cannot resolve the effects of the Floowandereeze monsters, of course you don't get an additional summon, meaning that you need to DD Crow a card in the graveyard. You need to add a Floowandereeze card from your banish. You need to be able to add a level 7 or higher Floowandereeze, and you need to be able to add a level 4 and lower winged beast in order to gain their effects as well as search. To complement this, we played 4 copies of our Floowandereeze and the Ain't Magnificent map inside of 3 of this in a Terraforming. This card is really important as it turns any of your level 1 Floowandereeze and this card, of course, into full combo. And it also allows you to normal summon on your opponent's turn, which comes up when you want to tribute summon on your opponent's turn, like summon Empin or a Monarch or whatever. You might want to do that with this deck, which could throw them off. Floowandereeze, the Unexplored wins as a card that I did not think was great. Until I realized in the late game, you're going to have multiple Floowandereeze cards in your hand. You don't necessarily need them. Put them to your bottom of your deck and gain free cards. Also, this allows you to keep your Eglen popping by being able to shuffle these cards back into your deck or place them back to the bottom of the deck and draw cards. Somebody in chat said you can tribute or you can send a card your opponent controls, as in you can get rid of spells and traps. I haven't necessarily tested that, but stream will definitely be able to tell you guys if that is the case. I have not done that just yet, but that's definitely something that's been floating around. Floowandereeze and the Dreaming Town is the only Floowandereeze trap card that we play. This is literally the best card for the deck, as not only does it allow you to summon on your opponent's turn, which starts your whole Floowandereeze chain, it can also flip all of their cards face down, which is huge, and then having it banished to be able to add or use Toucan, follow your nose, to add from your banished pile to your hand is instrumental, and that's the only reason why you need one. Now, moving away from our Floowandereeze cards, our Big Daddy cards, the cards that we play, is only one Raiza the Mega Monarch. You only need one, fortunately enough. I understand that this card is extremely expensive, but hopefully with Brothers of Legends or some reprints that coming around town, you'll be able to cop Raiza the Mega Monarch fairly soon, if not in an OTS pack. There's also Mist Valley Apex Avian, a card that has been climbing up in price. These super rares and the secret rares are fairly expensive, as well as the dual terminal. Raiza the Mega Monarch is essentially your win condition. So if you guys cannot afford Raiza the Mega Monarch, you can still play. I guess I'd play Snarl. Snarl isn't bad because it book moons your opponent's monsters. But this card literally says bounce 2 cards or bounce a card on your opponent's side of the field. Bounce a card in their graveyard, spin it to the top of their deck. So now you get to put your opponent on a timer. If you essentially put 2 cards on top of their deck and they can't shuffle their deck, you can essentially win because now you've reset the board. And against extra deck monsters, you should already know. Get rid of Shinshin in graveyard, get rid of something else on field, you're good to go. This card can also bounce another card if you tribute a win monster, which Floowandereeze have win monsters. And a lot of times you'll find yourself bouncing back Raiza, and then you'll be able to tribute summon for it again in the same turn, which is ridiculous. Mist Valley Apex Avian is a negate. And then our last Winged Beast card is Barrier Statue of the Stormwoods. Surprisingly, very easy for this deck to play this card. Just normal summon it outright and carry on. Before I get into the additional monsters, one thing I would like to point out is that we tried playing Nadir Servants and the Dogmatic Engine, and I don't think Nadir Servants and the Dogmatic Engine is bad, but it 100% conflicts with this card, which is Shifty Boy. Shifty Boy essentially ends the game against, I think, every single one of the top meta decks. Maybe not Swordsoul, but against Virtual World, against Drytron, against BBW. This card literally ends our turn, and this isn't one of those decks that can kind of sort of play around with it. No, this card revels in Dimension Shifter. Not only can it play around it, it benefits from it, and you can activate the next Dimension Shifter following up. So this card is almost never dead, especially if you use your Stris right. Moving forward, for our hand traps, I play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, 1 copy of Effect Veiler, and 1 copy of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. If you are noticing the ratio, then you should already know what's going to come on from here. If you guys cannot afford Crossout Designators, Mystic Mine is actually really good. Mystic Mine is extremely good. Like, you can play Mystic Mine in here, use it, break your opponent's board. You're not really going to summon over 2 monsters to your side of the field. Then get rid of your Mystic Mine for your Floowandereeze field spell. That also works. I don't know if your friends will like you though. Moving forward, in order to help combat hand traps like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, Book of Moon is not only a powerful offensive card, it works really good in this deck as a defensive card. If I activate Robina, you go Effect Veiler, I go Book of Moon. Well, congratulations, you played yourself. I still can full combo. It's also good at flipping cards face down. Only 2 copies of Crossout Designator. If I want to cut this card, I'm not sure if I want to cut it and just play Mystic Mines, because Mystic Mine Theory seems a lot better. The only bad thing about Mystic Mine is obviously you can't play it going first, but Crossout Designator comes in pretty clutch, being able to banish any of the cards that will stop you from going full combo and allow you to continue. And if you can set up a full combo, which is very simple, you can pretty much win the game. 1 copy of Call by the Grave to sum everything up here. And now moving on into the rest of the spell and trap cards, these cards help you get tremendous advantage. 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus. Gold Sarcophagus plus any bird is full combo. That's right. This plus any bird is full combo, and I'll be able to show you. And then to make it ultra consistent, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Understandable if you cannot afford Pot of Prosperity. If you can't and you wanted to play a pot card, Pot of Extravagance is not as good as Prosperity, because in this particular deck, we don't care about getting 2 free cards. We need to dig for a particular card. But I mean, it's the next best thing, and it's getting reprinted in gold rare. Lastly is 3 copies of Pot of Duality. These 3 cards work in sequence, or these 2 cards work in complete sequence, harmony. Yeah, never conflict with them. You can dig up to 9 cards from your deck. Now, the crazy thing about Floowandereeze is the extra deck. And the reason why I say it's crazy, because unless you're playing the Dogmatica engine, which is Nadir's Servant, you don't need your extra deck. So I literally only have 7 cards to talk about for the extra deck of Floowandereeze. So there are times where your Floowandereeze little monsters stay on the field, and you can use those to make these 2 guys, which can essentially make these 2 guys. Don't count on this ever being your win condition. It just exists because you can make it and your extra deck is free. Link Krebo and Relinquish Anima obviously come up because you summon level 1 guys and they can be linked off. And then lastly, a card I wanted to talk about is Tri-Brigade Shiraig. If you are playing the Nadir Servant engine, you can send Shiraig from your deck, from your extra deck to the graveyard. And if you have a banished BBW, you can add Robin to your hand. So that's pretty good. For the people that want to know what would I play for extra deck, I play Cyber Dragon Nova, Elder Entity Intis, Invoked Mechaba. For if my opponent tries to Maximus me, because that's pretty prevalent inside of Invoked Shadal. Or so, you know, I play stuff like that. But I mean, it really does not matter what your extra deck plays. But if you really want, I play 100% play these in my extra deck, just in case in the off chance you actually go into them. So now that we're done with the main board and I guess the remnants of the extra deck, let me show you full combo. Full combo is literally 1 card with this deck, and that's why I think it's so powerful. What you do is you normal summon the Robina. Robina's effect will add Floowandereeze Eglen from your deck to your hand. Then you normal summon the Eglen. Eglen's effect will add Floowandereeze Empin from your deck to your hand. Then you tribute both Robina and Empin. They both get banished since they were left the field face up. You summon Empin, you use Empin as Chainlink 1, you use Eglen as Chainlink 2, do not use the effect of Robina, and I'll explain a little later. You'll add the Eglen from your deck to your hand, and then you'll add to Floowandereeze in the Dreaming Town. So from here, you're going to go ahead and set to Floowandereeze Dreaming Town and pass your turn. Simple, right? Really, really simple how easy this deck is to go full combo. You're set. The other 4 cards in your hand, they could be whatever. They could be Crossouts to stop your opponent, Call by the Graves, they could be hand traps. It does not matter. So on your opponent's turn, whenever you feel is most convenient, you activate that Floowandereeze Dreaming Town, you ask them, how's Squamata? Because you're going to be doing more summons than them more often than not. You use the Dreaming Town to normal summon the Eglen. Eglen Chainlink 1 to search, Robina Chainlink 2 to search. That means your opponent won't be able to Ash Blossom the Eglen. With that, you will add either Miss Valley Apex Avian or my favorite card, Raiza the Mega Monarch, and then you'll be able to add this from your deck to your hand. We're just going to go ahead and say the Raiza. Use the effect of Eglen to be able to tribute. Oh, I'm sorry. Or you add Empin. Let me show you what happens if you add Empin. Where's the other Empin? Here we go. Use the effect of Robina to be able to add Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Or, where's that card? Follow Your Nose from your deck to your hand, okay? And now you can perform an additional normal summon. Let's say, for example, I added Raiza. I'm going to add the Toucan Follow Your Nose card. From here, we'll be able to tribute Robina and Eglen. We'll normal summon Raiza the Mega Monarch, and now we can spin 3 cards. We can put a card from our graveyard to our hand. We can also be able to put 2 cards on, or I'm sorry, our graveyard to the top of the deck. And then we can put 2 cards into the respective owner's hands. A lot of the times you can actually just put the Raiza back in your hand if you have an additional tribute summon viable. You also can use the effect of your Floowandereeze Robina, your Eglen, since it was tribute to add to your hand. You also have Dreaming Town to be able to banish to flip your opponent's cards face down. But what if I decided to go the other way with Floowandereeze Eglen or Empin being added to my hand? This is a lot harder to do, to keep up with the names. What would you do then? Well, what you would do is you tribute both of your monsters as usual, normal summon your Empin. Empin's effect would activate. From here, I would advise to add your Floowandereeze Unexplored Winds or your Magnificent Mad, whichever one you want to. Also, Chainlink 2, since you use the effect of Robina, is going to be Eglen. And then you get the normal summon again, which is going to be your Storm Barrier Statue. And that's why I run 2 copies of Empin. So on the following turn, I could summon Storm Statue if I can't search it. Now, to wrap this whole little video up, I'm going to show you full combo plus. So now I'm going to show you why Gold Sarcophagus plus an additional Floowandereeze monster any Floowandereeze monster is full combo, but I'm actually going to add a little twist to it. That any card is going to be Floowandereeze Eglen. I'm going to be showing you how this deck can manage. First thing you're going to do is activate Gold Sarcophagus to banish that Floowandereeze Robina. Then I'm going to normal summon Eglen using its effect as Chainlink 1, Robina as Chainlink 2. So Robina comes to our hand, and then Empin goes to our hand. We'll use the effect of Robina, to be able to summon itself, using Robina's effect to add Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, and then we will tribute both of these monsters to be able to summon Floowandereeze Empin. Empin's effect will activate to be able to activate Floowandereeze the Dreaming Town, and then we'll normal summon our Barrier Statue. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll also Chainlink to our Eglen. My apologies. Chainlink to the Eglen to make sure that gets protected. And then resolving, you'll normal summon the Barrier Statue Stormwinds, so your board can very much look almost the same, except this time you have you have a Barrier Statue Stormwinds plus your Empin and still full combo. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, as we've been doing quite a few deck profiles on Twitch. Again, if you want to see more awesome TheCaliEffect content, go ahead and check out these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.